All the info gurus online are telling you to sell AI infrastructures to local contractors, but they're not showing you how. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how we're selling AI infrastructures so you could just copy us. Number one is a lead has to originate from either referrals or paid ads. For us, we like to use paid ads via Facebook ads or Google ads. For the most part, Facebook ads, because it's very predictable income. If we spend $1 and our media buying is really good, we can make $3 or $5 or $10 out. So we need to have a mechanism to actually generate leads online. Number two is essentially the AI infrastructure just auto nurtures and auto books people onto a calendar with AI. So that way, if a contractor is at a job or they don't have time to pick up the phone, we have AI running on weekends, whenever they're not currently working, to book people onto their calendar so they could go out for the estimate. The last thing is it results in more closed jobs for your local contractor client. And that way they could stay on for months on end. You can also release this as a one-time fee and then a minor fee to manage it month to month. But for the most part, we want to generate revenue for the business so they can see the results of our labor. How do we actually do the onboarding for every single client? A lot of people don't get into technicals, but I'm going to get into the exact technicals of how to actually fulfill this service. I'll attach a school community down below where you could join and you could get the exact same snapshot that we're using. But in this video, we're going to cover it as well. Number one, we need to duplicate the sub account for your client and then add yourself in the Facebook Business Manager to start running Facebook ads. Number two is we'll add them as a user and then attach their calendar, Google or Outlook, and also their Facebook account as well. Number three, we'll configure custom values, whether we want AI booking enabled or not. Number four is we'll edit some automations. So we have a general template, but for whatever niche, you'll need to go ahead and edit how the AI talks in that niche. Number five is we'll launch ads and we're good to go. So I'll go into GHL to give you that exact same snapshot so we could take a look. So number one, let's go down to actually duplicating sub accounts for your client and then adding yourself in the Facebook Business Manager. The first thing we're going to cover here is what we'll need to do is we'll need to go ahead and create an account for your contractor client. So what we do here is basically we go to My Staff. So let's say this is the snapshot. We basically just clone it in your GHL agency account, and we could go ahead and add the user. So go ahead and add their first name, last name, email, and phone, and have them sign in so they have access to this GHL. Afterwards, we'll go ahead, once they're connected, we can go ahead and log in as them. So we could go ahead and log in with their email. And then what you do here is you usually share your screen. You can either have them do it on their screen or you can log in as them. But what we need to do is basically connect the Facebook leads form here. And then this will basically just have them continue, and you need to select your ad account and select the page that you're running from. And on top of that, what we need to do is basically sign into the Google account here, and you'll have them log in with their Google account. The main purpose of this is so that Facebook leads will get piped into GHL, and also the Google Calendar gets piped in here as well. Facebook form mapping, I'll get into this once we actually launch the ads, but for the Facebook form mapping, essentially anytime that we create a new instant form on Facebook, we have to go over here and press map fields to make sure that the fields get mapped to the correct custom field. So whenever a client gets a lead, they know exactly the fields that we have. Afterwards, what we need to do is once we have the Google account and Facebook connected, we need to go over to My Profile. So this will be your client's account. So what we need to do here is basically sign in with their email. And then here for calendar settings, we'll need to go ahead and press add new and then connect their Google Calendar or Outlook calendar. This, as a result, will automatically book estimates onto their calendar. So you don't have to worry about telling your clients that you booked an appointment, but they never received it. So you could go ahead and just connect their calendar so they could see all the different bookings made by you or the AI bot. So that covered basically step one is step two. Number three is we need to configure the custom values. So I have a couple of custom values here. I kept it very simple in our GHL account. So number one is AI booking enabled. So this essentially talks about, does the AI automatically book people in via SMS? If yes, you could put it as capital true. If no, we can have it at false. So we really want to enable AI booking. And for the most part, this will automatically work on weekends whenever your client is at a job site, whenever your client can't get to a lead right away. AI bot automatically functions on the back end to book people in directly onto the calendar. AI name is essentially what you want to name your AI assistant that's currently booking in appointments. Auto calling enabled, essentially, let's say a lead comes in, does it automatically call the lead and call the client as well? If you wanted to do that, you could set it as true, but I'll get into this whenever we talk about automations. Minimum project size. We want to qualify people based on the budget. So this will be used in our AI booking bot to give them a prompt to essentially disqualify people that don't have the money for that project. Now let's go over to the calendar. So we have a calendar here set up, but essentially you could go ahead and create a new one, or you could currently use this one as well. We have round robin. So if you have multiple people in terms of like service people that go out to the estimates, you could go ahead and attach all of them. So let's go ahead and press edit. We can name this free estimate, and we could change this as well. And on top of that, what we need to do, the media invite. So this is what Google Calendar will see. And then you can add people as you will. And then you could set meeting location. It could be custom or phone call. But essentially, this will just book them directly onto the calendar. Availability, you could go ahead and select this for the availability of times. And on top of that, here's the form. So you could go ahead and create a form. We have a form set up already, but you could go ahead and create a form. How you do that is you could go over to sites, and then you go over to forms, form builder. So as you can see here, the free in-house estimates form, this will be attached in your calendar. So essentially first name, last name, phone number, email, address, city, and that's pretty much it. But you can make it custom, whatever you want. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. We'll go over to calendars again. In the notifications, we have the Google automatically send the invitation, update the emails. And on top of that, that's pretty much it on the calendar side to keep it pretty simple. All of this can be very custom. We are basically just giving you a snapshot of how we can actually do this, but you can modify it however you will. This is just a good boilerplate, MVP of the AI infrastructures that you can set. Now let's get into the automations that we have set up. Let's first go into the pipeline to see what the pipeline is set up. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the phone number. So when you first start out with a new sub account, you're not going to have an SMS phone number to reach out from. So what we need to do in the beginning is we'll actually need to add a phone number. You could go ahead and just follow this flow. Once you buy the phone number, it's like $1.15. What you need to do here is go ahead and do the brand and campaign verification. This usually takes a couple days, if not 1 to 2 weeks. So it's kind of slow on A2P's end. But what you need to do is you need to verify this, because a lot of homeowners is going to be responding via text message and also calling as well. So we need to get this set up as soon as possible whenever you onboard a client. Now let's go over the actual sales pipeline. So if you go over to opportunities, we could see here, lead in is essentially a lead fills out Facebook lead form. They get piped into our CRM, where we'll go ahead and add tags. Follow-up assigned is essentially, let's say we attach a follow-up sequence. If a lead doesn't reply in 1 to 2 days, we keep following up with them. But also it's for the AI booking bot to be moved into needs follow-up today. So needs follow-up today, the AI booking bot is enabled. And then follow-up 1, follow-up 2 is essentially, let's say you have an appointment setter set, or you want to install an AI dialer. Basically in the morning, it'll double dial. If no pickup, it'll get moved into follow-up 2. And then in the afternoon, you double dial. And then every single day in follow-up 1 or follow-up 2, it'll get moved back into needs follow-up today. So you know how to keep track of people that you need to follow up with. But for the most part, this is just for you to keep track of if you're double dialing or not. Lead reply nurture is essentially, let's say a customer hasn't booked an appointment. We're constantly nurturing them. And lead sent, I'll talk about this a little bit later. So whenever we first start out, you're not going to have A2P. So what you need to do is actually send the lead directly to your contractor client. And then lead send reply, let's say they replied after you sent the lead. Appointment booked, this is for all the people that you either self-book or the AI booked or your client booked. And then appointment replied is essentially if, let's say, appointment booked and then replied to you via text or SMS, it'll get moved here. Proposal sent, once your client sends a proposal, move them into proposal sent. Proposal sent reply, pretty self-explanatory. And then we have closed won, the job was won, or closed lost, the job was lost to another competitor. Future follow-ups, leads archive, which is basically all the leads that didn't get booked or we just lost contact with. And unqualified, they don't have the budget or anything like that. So let's go into the automations here. Let's first get into the lead automation. There's 4 different columns and folders. So let's go into lead automation. So number 1, the start, as you can see here, there's a start and end. The start essentially just sends the leads directly to your client because we don't have SMS, so we can't actually book them in via the SMS AI bot. So let's say a Facebook lead form was submitted. Essentially, we wait 2 minutes and then we send it into lead sent. We create a new opportunity. Once it's in that, basically it'll get moved into here. We'll give an internal email to your clients about the lead and all the information. So these fields are as a result of mapping your fields on Facebook ads. So like I showed you before, if you go to integrations and then Facebook form field mapping, we'll map those. So whenever a form is filled out, we know which variable is which variable, so we could send it out as a notification. On top of that, we have the SMS verification. So after that, essentially, we'll send the lead directly to your contractor client. But let's say we have A2P verified. What we need to do is basically turn this off by pressing this button. We'll go ahead and put it into draft, and then we'll enable this. So what is the end goal here, right? So if we go here, essentially the same form is filled out. Basically, we'll create an opportunity and lead in, and then we'll send the SMS. Basically, we're reaching out to the lead right now, and then we'll send the email as well. So where does that actually go? Once you have this enabled, the lead gets moved into lead in. So you go over to new lead automatic call placement. As you can see here, the trigger is basically a lead is in. We wait 5 minutes. And here is where you can have auto calling enabled from the custom variables or not. So if it's enabled, basically it'll call the lead and also call your contractor client as well to see if it picks up. If not, let's say the contractor client does not pick up, essentially what happens is we'll move them into follow-up assigned, and then we'll follow up with them. As you can see here, you can either have AI booking enabled or AI booking disabled. If AI booking enabled, we add a tag, and this is for the AI bot to automatically reach out to those clients. And if it's disabled, we won't add that tag. So let's now go take a look at what follow-up assign looks like. Number one, if it's currently enabled, we actually have the AI do the first initial message. But if it's disabled, we manually send it to the client. So that's the only difference. Everything else is the same. Now let's get into how the appointment setting bot actually works whenever a lead gets moved into follow-up assigned. So let's get into what the auto booker does via the AI SMS bot. So the trigger would be, let's say lead replies, and then it's via SMS if AI booking enable, which we set previously, depending on the custom values, and doesn't have the tag appointment booked. So this means a lead is still currently being nurtured. So anytime a lead replies, we're going to go ahead and just use this prompt that go ahead and basically gets them to book. So as you can see here, this is a very MVP prompt, and you'll need to go ahead and edit this depending on which niche you're currently in. And then you could go ahead and modify the qualifying questions on top of that. What you need to do here is essentially you'll need to attach a calendar, the one that we just created, and then we could go ahead and press save. Another trigger is basically a follow-up assign. So let's say in the beginning, like I just showed you in the follow-ups, let's say we have the AI send the first initial message. We also have the AI bot automatically nurture the lead. So if it times out, so after a couple of days, if a lead doesn't reply or they get leads archived, we create an opportunity in leads archived. Or if the appointment is not booked, we move it into unqualified. If the appointment is booked, we'll just remove this from this current workflow. So what happens after appointment gets booked? So let's go into the appointment booked automation. So essentially, the AI bot will automatically book them onto the calendar. And once we do that, we'll basically have a trigger. Once an appointment is booked onto this specific calendar, add the tag, create the opportunity in appointment booked, wait 2 minutes, and then here's a verification message that you'll send out, and then you'll need to edit this depending on what your client is currently booking for. You'll have an internal notification that sends it out to your clients via email and text, and then we'll have an appointment reminder, and we'll need to edit this 12 hours before the appointment as well. That's pretty much it for the AI infrastructure. Here we have some basic pipelines that basically just creates the opportunity. Once they get moved into a pipeline, we'll add the tag. But essentially, the next thing is essentially the lead replied. So this thing is good to know. Everything else moved to XYZ will automatically have the correct tags and then move them into correct corresponding pipeline. But for lead replied, basically we'll move them depending on what tag they have. It looks complex, but basically the TLDR is if they have a certain tag and let's say they appointment booked, we'll move them into appointment book replied in the pipeline. or let's say proposal sent and they reply, it'll get moved into proposal sent, replied pipeline. So you don't really have to worry about this, but if there's anything weird, let's say an appointment got booked, but they get moved into a different section, I will go ahead and take a look at this. But aside from that, it's not really important. On top of that, what we have here, two different other columns, time automations, like I mentioned before. If they get moved into follow-up 1 in the morning, let's say you double dial, it will basically wait 12 hours, and then what happens, it will just reset them back into needs follow-up today. So every single day, you'll have all the leads back into needs follow-up today. The same thing goes for follow-up 2. This is more so like in the afternoon, so then it waits less, like 6 hours. So in the morning, you'll have everybody in need follow-up today again. The last thing is the spam filters. So this is essentially Facebook. Once you run ads, you're gonna get a lot of different stuff on Facebook that basically says you've been banned or whatever. Go ahead and don't worry about that. We just have this that basically just deletes that contact, so your clients don't press any of those emails. But I'll let your clients know that you might get these like scam messages, but don't worry, it's all scams. So that's pretty much it in terms of the whole AI infrastructure. What I'll do now is essentially create another video regarding how to actually launch your Facebook ads for clients and then pipe them into GHL via the Facebook form mapping. So if you're interested in actually getting this snapshot and getting weekly group calls, our entire systems, our entire roadmap, sales scripts, ads that we're currently running to target local contractors to sell AI infrastructures, go ahead and click the school link down in the description, and we'll add you to a community, and you can hop on the weekly group calls with me or other 7-figure business owners. I hope you got a lot of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one when we talk about how to actually create Facebook ads and map it into Go High Level. I'll see you there.